Big exciting news to start your new day as we're just 7 days away from the presidential election. All the excitement's heating up with great news coming out from Merck and Pfizer about COVID-19 relief amid questions about new lockdowns. But as you focus here, is the focus on the presidential election or is it on the run for the Senate with 7 days to go? A lot of questions abound, and we're going to answer them on a great day of 28. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday morning here on the West Coast and just a little bit past 3 o'clock on the East Coast. Thank you for joining me for 28, in which we count down the 28 days before the election. And now there's literally just 7 days away. A lot of excitement and a lot of questions and a lot of answers will be given to you in this video. If you've not already become part of this community, go to the Funds channel, subscribe. It's absolutely categorically incredible with, millions of views per day, hundreds of thousands of tweets per hour or per day online. It's an incredible community to be part of, the Purple Power community of LALATE. Also, like this video, it's been helping. The videos appearing #1 in the rankings in the last 2 days, so keep it up. In this video, I'll be going over really great and shocking news across the board today. The great news is new data from Merck about a solution that could be in the form of 5 pills taken over 5 days that could be an incredible therapeutic for COVID, so you would never die from it. You would simply take 5 pills and be done with it. Next, Pfizer could announce details about a vaccine within 1 week. Incredible, great news. Additionally, there's questions and concerns as hospitalizations increase across the board and new lockdowns are announced, but all eyes are on the election. And with the election just 7 days away, what could happen with the Senate? Because ultimately the Senate may determine your stimulus package and stimulus check, but we're still focused on executive orders. This is incredible, great news, and let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as we sit here today is that all the pushes of this channel and its followers, the Purple Power, remain in place. Seats for stimulus, MSC, multiple stimulus checks, and executive orders. The president has 7 days to do an executive order. He has down to the last day to announce an executive order. But will the president realize that he needs to do it right now? What we don't know as we sit here on a Tuesday morning is the impact of one major factor, and that is the confirmation of Judge Barrett overnight. That will undoubtedly help the president and help the GOP, but we don't see the impact of that on the polls within the last few hours. We'll see it possibly by tonight or tomorrow. That impact could tighten the race, but if it doesn't, the president needs to do executive orders. There's nothing else left in his cards to pull out to narrow the race. What we're talking about here is stimulus from the executive branch, executive order stimulus. The president can do it, the president has done it before, and the president should do it. He has $800 billion of unused money from CARES Act 1 and CARES Act 2. That's in SBA, unused PPP money he can use for stimulus. How much stimulus is this, and how soon could you get it? If you announce the executive order today, you could get it within 10 days if you're set up for electronic receipt for SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits. If you're set up for paper receipt, a week later. If you're set up for anything electronic from IRS, within a week. $800 billion accounts for a lot of money. So how much stimulus would it give you? It would give you upwards of about a $5,000 stimulus check, or $4,000 with some extra money left for FPUC, which we need that as well. So will the president do it, and when will the president really wake up to the severity of the situation? The severity of the situation for him is the following. To win the presidency, he needs to win the Electoral College. How do you win the Electoral College? You need 270 electoral votes. And where is he on the Electoral College? It's dependent upon the swing states. And where is he in the swing states? Down, down, down. He's not moving. Day after day, my recordings are unchanged about his poll numbers in the swing states. He's either leading in none of the swing states or leading in only 2 of the swing states, and that doesn't cut it. He needs to get a push. And the push would be executive orders, a 3 percentage point push, a 5 percentage point push. But if we don't see the impact of Judge Barrett's confirmation overnight to later today as showing much improvement on narrowing the gap between him and Biden, this would mean even more reason to do executive orders. Now, beyond executive orders, the Purple Power, the followers of this channel, have been focused on the path for stimulus despite the outcome of the presidency. Because why? It's dependent upon the outcome of the Senate. The Senate is the core to get you stimulus relief if there is no executive order. Remember, to pass a law, it has to be voted on the House and approved in the House. It has to be voted in the Senate and approved upon the Senate. It doesn't even get to the presidency if it's not approved by the Senate. So where are we on the Senate? That's the big question. Yesterday, I detailed that Mike Bloomberg, yes, the former mayor of New York, yes, the guy who ran for president, billions and billions of dollars in his hands, is being approached by Chuck Schumer at the 11th hour to give fortunes to the GOP battlegrounds of the Senate, to give money to Democrats to unseat GOP leaders in the Senate. Why? Because the PAC, the committee to unseat GOP leaders in the Senate, is running out of money. And that ultimately, if the GOP retains ownership and control of the Senate, that would douse, poof, explode, and all of Nancy Pelosi's efforts to give you $2.2 trillion or $3.4 trillion under her stimulus relief. What is this talking about? Let me explain where we are on this. Nancy Pelosi has always had a one path, one scenario situation. It's something I don't advise you ever on financial relief on this channel. I say never put all your eggs in one basket. Never hope that everything is done by one path. And that's what Nancy Pelosi is betting on. She's betting on the presidency becomes Biden. The Senate becomes Democratic. Well, guess what? The race is currently too close to call in the Senate. Lots of polls say that we may not even know whether the Senate goes Democratic on election night, because it's all down to one major battleground. Georgia, which has not voted Democratic in a presidential election since 1992, is a dead race between the president and Biden, in the Senate race as well. And with a runoff, you may not even know who captures the Senate for days to come. Nancy Pelosi's bet is that she would take the Senate, the Democrats would take the Senate, and that her bill would simply just walk into the Senate, get stamped and approved, and then head on land on Biden's table, and you would have a bill done. Imagine what happens if that doesn't happen. Imagine if the Senate remains GOP and the presidency goes to Biden. That's not a scenario that Nancy Pelosi provided for. Essentially, what would happen is that Steve Mnuchin would be gone. If the president loses, if Donald Trump does not get reelected, Steve Mnuchin would be gone. And that her negotiations with Steve Mnuchin will be much of nothing. They're not an agreement. They're not a deal. They're not a bill. They're not anything. They're not written down. And that whatever she's gotten Steve Mnuchin to go to, the new leadership of the GOP and the Senate would say, you know what? Sorry, honey. We're starting anew, and we're starting with our numbers, and we're not giving you $400 billion for state and local. We're not giving you $900 billion for state and local. What's important to understand with the Purple Power Caucus is that you have absolutely done incredible efforts. We started that last Friday, and I started another one the week before. Where are we? 2 weeks ago on a Friday, I started hashtag MSC, multiple stimulus checks. Last Friday, I started Purple Power Caucuses. Purple Power Caucuses are for you to go on social media and make very clear how much you're owed, when you're owed, and how they're delineated. If you watched Morning's LALATE, and if you watched early Morning's LALATE, you saw me go over the delineation of how you're owed first stimulus checks, second stimulus checks, and how you're owed third stimulus checks coming up in the next weeks to come. I've warned you that I expect politicians to say, you know what, we're not going to give you a third stimulus checks. You know what's happening in January and February when you're on lockdown? Well, we just gave you a stimulus check for October. And you're like, wait a second, that's my check for June and July. It's not my check for next February. Oh, well, you know, check back with us when we're back from vacation. I expect that to be coming around the corner. And so I'm preparing you to get the narrative out there as the fake narratives push back. This is why it's important. New reports announced minutes ago this Tuesday morning about lockdowns. In Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker announced new business restrictions in 4 counties and Chicago after 2,600 people were hospitalized with COVID on Monday. This is run by journalists by the Atlanta. In Texas, El Paso County Judge Ricardo Sambenego issued a curfew on Sunday to protect overwhelmed and exhausted hospitals and workers. More than 5,000 people were in the hospital on Monday. I think the community and the country need to realize that this is just the beginning of what could be a very dark and tragic time over the next 4 to 6 weeks, says Dr. Olenzi, chief medical official of the Del Sol Medical Center in El Paso. This is the harbinger of a very tough winter, said another doctor to CNBC. COVID hospitalizations rise in 36 states across the country, and this goes back to my Purple Power Caucus for hazard pay. You're owed multiple stimulus checks. You need to get those multiple stimulus checks, and that what happens with the presidency may not be the determinant factor about your stimulus checks. It may be the Senate. But as we sit here today, and if you watched me yesterday, I certainly say I'm not sitting back and saying I'm predicting what's happening. I'm not predicting a presidential election. I'm not predicting a Senate race, nor should you. It's just too hard to call. And I'm not even to contested election. Imagine this contested election. Imagine this as a runoff race in Georgia. We simply just don't know. What we do know, and this is what's incredible great news, which is great news to start the new day, is that we're starting the narrative. The narrative has been loud. The narrative has been vocal. You're owed multiple stimulus checks, and that ultimately what you may see in the Democratic leadership is one stimulus check. What you may see in the Republican leadership is no stimulus check. Let's recap. In the last 5-6 months, Nancy Pelosi has never said you're owed a multiple stimulus check. Never. In fact, she's reduced your stimulus checks from $1,200 to $500. In the Republican leadership, they don't even give you a single stimulus check. Mitch McConnell in 3 bills had 0 stimulus checks in all 3 bills. Then there's Senator Harris, now the VP nominee for Biden-Harris. Do you notice a peculiar thing about Senator Harris? I've noticed it. Have you noticed it? Yes. The bill she wrote with Senator Sanders from Vermont, $2,000 every month for 6 months until the pandemic improves or until unemployment goes away, a minimum of 6 months per person, which would be $12,000. She wrote the bill. She was all across broadcast news in May. She appeared on every major news channel during her presidential run talking about her own bill. She hasn't talked about it a single day since she was announced as the VP running mate. I'm not the only one talking about it. Broadcast News has wondered, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you talking about stimulus checks? Joe Biden has not talked about stimulus check, has not said a single word about any type of stimulus relief. So how much stimulus relief is there kind of becoming? This is why we have to push the microcosm. We have to push the football down the field because they perhaps don't even have an answer and that we need to help give them the answer. We can't presume that they're working against us. We have to presume that they're working for us. Now, great incredible news this morning from Merck and Pfizer. I'm really excited for you. And I have more details coming up later in this video, so please stay with me. Merck announced today that it has, in its 2nd and 3rd phase testing, a therapeutic for COVID-19, which could change the game plan. What does this mean? It means if you got COVID-19, you would take a pill every day for 5 days in the comfort of your own home. Pop a pill, drink a glass of milk, stay at home, pop another pill the next day. Sort of like the pills that you take when you have a cold or the flu. You do not have to go to the hospital. Unlike remdesivir, which is what the president took when you had to go to the hospital and get an IV in your arm, this is just a pill. You go to the pharmacist, you pop a pill in your mouth, you take a glass of milk, and you enjoy the rest of your day at home. After 5 days, the antibodies work and the COVID is released from your system and you will not die, and it's not cured, but it is the fight against the virus is effectuated. It's incredibly great news. It would absolutely mean that anyone gets COVID would never die, that no one would have to go to hospitals, that no one would have to go to a physician to get an IV. It would mean that people would be back to normal within about 7 days after taking the COVID-19 pill. It's absolutely incredible game changer. And Merck's expect it's going to come in the fall of this year. Pfizer, also a big one. Pfizer's expected to announce its results for vaccine. This is not a therapeutic. This is a vaccine you take ahead of time before you get COVID-19 to prevent you from getting COVID-19. On a conference call with investors today, Pfizer's CEO Alberto Bourla moments ago said that the company does not expect any announcement on its testing within the next week, but could expect it after Election Day. The board, which will not assess the trial with the German drug maker, has conducted an interim efficiency analysis, says Pfizer, reported by CNBC. Let's all have patience. I know how much stress levels are growing. I know how much the vaccine is needed for the world. This is incredible, great news. Ultimately, you're seeing a vaccine coming. You're seeing a therapeutic. The therapeutic may become first, which is incredible, great news, which means you would never die, which means you would never have lifetime illnesses or stomach or breathing problems. It is what America needs. Finally, the number of hospitalizations are out of control. Number of COVID-19 cases per day are out of control. And these types of relief are needed right away. Right away. It's incredible, great news. We're going to get your stimulus. What I want you to understand, and here's a personal message. People ask me all the time, do you think we're going to get stimulus? Absolutely. Do you think we're going to get a lot of stimulus? I don't know. Do you think we're going to get massive amounts of stimulus? I believe that there will be a massive stimulus package as a second and a third stimulus package, massive. But I really do believe, and I reported this last night, that you're going to see sort of this sea of industries, sea of lobbyists come forward and say, I need stimulus, our group needs stimulus, our group needs stimulus. And then ultimately, there's no one that's a lobbyist for us except me. And you. And so the bigger that you make me, the bigger that you make you, the bigger that you make us, the bigger and louder we become. And ultimately, that is the push that we need. So yes, you will get stimulus. The question is how much, and the louder we get, the bigger we get, the more we can get. All right, let me answer some of the incredible questions and comments from yesterday. Michelle Rosado, we need MSC retro stimulus and unemployment boost desperately. ICU. What I'd like to know is why is Washington so disdained and so much hatred for us? I just think they're lazy people. Israel Tomei, I can't believe the government has chosen one person over millions of people. They have. Waller Dyer, it's hard to stay positive. You stay positive. Stay with me, Wally. Philly, Trump watches when the stock market goes down. He does. Kathy Coleman, they're all like spiders. Averill, master of the Purple Power family, you are an inspiration to all of us, and I cannot show my appreciation enough. Heart, love what you have done, heart, for us. I love that too, and I thank that you stay with me, and I love that when people give that strong message to not just me, but also the other people who need it, like Wally just minutes ago. Tracy, they've had the problem solvers on TV said if they don't do it now, then there's nothing until February. Untrue. And I'm really tired of the problem solvers. There are a bunch of people who issue press releases, never write a bill. They're congressmen. They can write a bill. They can introduce the floor. I just think that they just want a lot of publicity for themselves at this point. Do something or zip it, problem solvers. It's like enough already. Star Clark. Sounds like the president just walked up and walked away from everyone. Cindy, pull yourself together, Mr. President. We need yourself now. Lisa, my landlord. Oh, I saw this comment. I love this comment. Lisa, my landlord knocked at my door this morning and asked when will I be paying the rent. I told him when Nancy Pelosi decides to give me my money. He accidentally spit out his coffee. Oh my God, I love that. Mike Sam, the president needs to do executive orders. Sally, hey, we're Purple Power. We don't stand down. No, do we? We don't. We keep fighting. Yes, we do, for what we need. Toby, it's a shame that Americans can't fight harder. Robin, prayers. Sherry, the president needs to do something. He's letting the American people down, and he knows it. I don't know if he knows it. Let's hope he does, then he can wake up. Go to the French channel, subscribe, because no one's going to get you through this better than I am. And hopefully I'll see you back outside for afternoons at LALATE. It has been a cold day. It has been absolutely freezing here. And now there's hot weather, and there's fires in Orange County. It's just a hot mess out here. Also, like this video. As always, stay tuned for afternoons at LALATE, starting at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay about life for more.